Peoria Tribes of Indians of Oklahoma is a confederation of 4 tribes: Kaskaskia, Piambishaw, and Wea tribes. Originally, these tribes were known as the Confederated Peorias. Their ancestral lands were bordered by the Great Lakes and drained by the Mississippi River. In the central United States, they are the descendants of those who created the Great Mound civilizations. The 4 tribes are represented by the shield design. The red arrow of the Peorias represents the sun. Piambishaw represents native soil with the turquoise arrow. Blue arrow represents the blue waters of the Weas, while green arrow represents the grass and trees of the Kaskaskia. The Confederated Peoria had several treaties with all 4 tribes, as well as other tribes. 3 of these treaties will be highlighted. The Edwardsville Treaty of 1818 forced the Confederated Peoria from their ancestral lands in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Iowa, and Missouri. Initially, the Peorias were relocated to Missouri, then to Kansas, and finally to northeastern Oklahoma. The tribal headquarters is in Miami, Ottawa County, Oklahoma. The Treaty of 1854 was due to increased pressure from white settlers in Kansas in the 1840s and 1850s. The tribes united in 1854 to protect their holdings. The Union of the Confederated Peoria was established. Under the treaty, each tribal member received an allotment of 160 acres. 10 sections was held in common by the new tribe, while surplus lands were sold to settlers and proceeds to be used for tribal purposes. The 1867 Omnibus Treaty was due to the turmoil among the people of Kansas during the Civil War. Under this treaty, most Confederated members agreed to move to Indian Territory. However, some members decided to separate and become United States citizens. The 1867 Omnibus Treaty was signed by most of the members of the tribe after the Civil War. Through this action, the federal government purchased land from the Quapaw tribe and relocated most of the Confederated Peoria tribe to Ottawa County, Oklahoma. Confederation members' land in Indian Territory were subject to the General Allotment Act of 1887. By 1915, all tribal lands had been allotted and no restricted lands remained for the tribe. According to the Oklahoma Indian Welfare Act of 1936, the tribes adopted a constitution and bylaws. In 1939, their name was changed to the Peoria Tribe of Indians of Oklahoma. In 1939, the tribe approved its first constitution and bylaws. However, due to the government's termination policy in the 1950s, the federal government ended its trust relationship with the Peoria Tribe of Indians of Oklahoma and its members on August 2, 1959. It did not include the claims pending in the Indian Claims Commission or Court of Claims. As a result, individual tribe members were no longer eligible for federal services. By the repealing of the Indian Organization Act in 1936, the Peoria Tribe of Indians of Oklahoma were reinstated as federally recognized tribe. And in 1997, a new constitution was drafted and ratified. There were only 6 pages in the original constitution. Additional membership requirements were added to the 1997 constitution. Persons of Indian blood whose names or descendants appear on the 1937 official census and the 1956 official membership roll are eligible for membership. The tribe's website provides comprehensive information about the Peoria Tribe's government. According to the tribe's constitution, the Peoria Council is its supreme governing body. The business committee carries out tribal legislation. It consists of 7 members: the chief, the second chief, the secretary, the treasurer, and 3 councilmen. A Grievance Committee consists of 5 members. Tribal members elect all officials. Following the Indian Civil Rights Act of 1968, the Grievance Committee is responsible for ensuring that the individual rights of members are protected. Under Article 16 of the 1997 Constitution is a tribal court provision. It states that until the Peoria Council determines that the tribe is financially and otherwise capable of maintaining its tribal court, the Court of Indian Offenses shall exercise tribal judicial authority. Court jurisdiction over Indian offenses shall include but not be limited to criminal and civil matters. When the tribe is ready to begin exercising its judicial authority, it shall notify the Court of Indian offenses by resolution. The Council may restore jurisdiction to the Court of Indian Offenses if the tribe cannot maintain a tribal court for financial or other reasons. Oklahoma's first Court of Indian Offenses was established before statehood in 1886, according to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. The Court of Indian Offenses initially served Kiowa, Comanche, and Apache reservations. Quanah Parker and Lone Wolf were 2 prominent tribal leaders who served as judges. The Indian police force provided law enforcement. In Oklahoma, tribal lands were open to non-Indian homesteading after land runs, and federal policies undermined tribal governments and broke up tribal land holdings, resulting in the loss of funding for the courts. Due to the lack of enforcement of tribal law, the state began asserting its authority over allotted lands, even though no jurisdiction existed. Tribal courts were reestablished since the Indian tribes reclaimed jurisdiction over these lands in the last few decades. The Court of Indian Offenses was established under the Code of Federal Regulations, or CFR, when tribal jurisdiction was affirmed. Without a tribal court, the Court of Indian Offenses will act as the tribe's judicial system. CFR courts and tribal courts only differ in the laws they enforce. In 1871, the President lost the authority to make treaties with Indian tribes, according to Professor Smith. In the following years, all tribal agreements were made through Congress. Ultimately, all tribal activities were governed by the Bureau of Indian Affairs of the Interior Department. Indian agents were responsible for maintaining law and order. To resolve disputes within the reservation, the Court of Indian Offenses was established. The Bureau of Indian Affairs became accountable for the Court of Indian Offenses in 1883. 4 CFR courts were covering 18 Indian nations when the court was reestablished in western Oklahoma in 1979. Since then, several tribes had developed their own judicial systems. In response to the CFR courts for these tribes were deactivated. A separate CFR court system was established for Eastern Oklahoma region tribes in 1991, which is headquartered in Muskogee, Oklahoma. However, some court cases are heard by the Miami Agency of Indian Court of Offenses. The Peoria Tribe of Indians of Oklahoma is part of the Eastern Oklahoma Region CFR Court. The CFR courts are governed by 25 CFR Part 11, unless laws and ordinances passed by a tribal governing party and approved by the Assistant Secretary for the BIA supersede it. Therefore, CFR courts should apply the tribe's customs whenever they are consistent with the CFR. Magistrate judges preside over CFR court trials. The decision of the judge may be appealed to the Court of Indian Offenses within a reasonable period of time. They are heard by appeals officers who are also judges. Also part of the CFR court are prosecutors and public defenders. To practice in CFR courts, an attorney must pass a state bar exam and be admitted to practice in the federal courts. Many attorneys belong to the bar association of their own tribe. Many types of civil cases can be heard in the Court of Indian Offenses, including cases involving Indians and non-Indians in Indian country, where tribal members are defendants. A defendant who consists consents to the court's jurisdiction could also bring a case involving an Indian, non-Indian, or non-tribal member. Indian child welfare, adoption, guardianship, divorce, child support, custody, name changes, protective orders, small claims, probate, and marriage are among the civil matters heard by the court. It is not necessary to hire an attorney to represent someone in court. An attorney, however, is recommended. Public defenders may be appointed to assist defendants in criminal and child welfare cases, including termination of parental rights, if they cannot afford an attorney. The Cfr Court encourages parties to hire an attorney with experience with Cfr Court laws and procedures. Judges and court clerks cannot assist parties in presenting their cases or representing them. In addition, court clerks, judges, and other court personnel cannot assist parties in preparing filings by following ethical codes. Forms and instructions are available from the office of the court clerk. There is an appeal process for Cfr Court decisions. Suppose a party believes that the Cfr Court judge made an error. They have the right to appeal to the Court of Indian Appeals. One must file the notice of appeal within 15 days of receiving the judgment or order of the Cfr Court. The appeal may be dismissed if one does not comply with the deadlines. Hearings are held before the appellate court rather than the trial court, unless a party requests a hearing. The BIA Office of Justice Services is responsible for preserving tribal sovereignty and ensuring the safety of Indian communities through the protection of life and property, the enforcement of laws, maintaining justice and order, and the confinement of sentenced Native American offenders in a safe, secure, and humane environment. Therefore, public safety and justice are two of the essential government services to tribal communities. District 2 covers Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and is located in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Several special agents are currently working there to conduct investigations. Rural and urban areas are divided among these investigators, resulting in significant distances between locations of responsibility. With a standardized Memorandum of Understanding agreement approved by the Oklahoma State Tribal Relations Subcommittee and the Governor's Office, District 2 has streamlined the extensive cross-deputization process. In Indian country, the Office of Justice Services serves many areas, such as drug enforcement, missing and murdered indigenous people, and Indian highway safety. Tribal Law and Policy Institute provides training and technical assistance to tribal healing to wellness drug courts under a Bureau of Justice Assistance grant program. The project has three main objectives: to assist in the development of healing to wellness courts, enhancing existing healing to wellness courts programs through training. It provides the field with state-of-the-art resources regarding effective strategies to address substance abuse offenders. Founded in 1988, the Tribal Law and Policy Institute is a nonprofit organization that promotes the health, well-being, and culture of Native Americans through education, research, and training. In addition to honoring community values, protecting rights, and promoting well-being, they strive to enhance and strengthen tribal sovereignty and justice. Their vision is to empower Native communities to create and control their own institutions so that all community members can benefit and flourish. With less than 3,000 members, the Peoria Tribe of Indians of Oklahoma is small. There are less than 1,000 members who reside in Oklahoma. For its members, the tribe offers a wide range of programs and services. Buffalo Run Casino, Resort, Hotel, and Peoria Ridge Golf Course are owned by the tribe. Economically and culturally, the Peoria Tribe of Indians of Oklahoma is thriving. Thank you.